How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm gonna show you my little Christmas setup here in my office. There,
Home office or office office?
home office.
Home office. Nice. Cool. I like that. So let me get my questions out. I
Get your
wasn't ready.
questions out.
Sorry.
I saw that people were emailing in their questions.
Yeah, we got a lot of them actually.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
want first? I got an updated numbers. You want those first?
In a sec.
No.
I'll
Okay.
I'll go through these questions first, and then if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Yep.
But a busy day. Everything's good.
Yeah, I've done a few interviews today and just back to back to back meetings. Today was the day that I met with all my commissioners and city manager. We had,
Oh,
update meetings. Usually we do that. Normally we have council on Thursdays, but we're wrapping council for the holiday season. We have regional on Thursday with public meeting on regional composition.
okay.
Very, very important. But our council meetings have ended for this year. So normally I have the Monday, Tuesdays to get fully briefed on what's coming on the agenda.
Cool.
So those continue
Um,
even though council doesn't. Yep.
sorry.
The meetings continue, the briefings continue, notwithstanding.
Okay. And hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to ask the question that I always ask you first. And I'll spin it a different way in regards to why are we waiting to the last minute, for these small businesses to figure out whether or not they're going to open on December 21st? Because we're less than a week away now, and there's still no word, and
It's
I think
funny
we
you
know
should
what.
say that. It's funny you should say that. I did send that question to the premier yesterday and to his chief of staff this morning saying, we're to open, lockdown to reopen on the 21st. When do you anticipate there will be an announcement either way? Now, what we do know is that the numbers have stabilized more or less. We're now at what 100. Just came in 133 cases per 100,000, which is
Yeah,
a lot, which is still a lot. The positivity rate went down a little bit, which is some good news. Ours is 7%. It used to be 7.6%, so it's gone down a little bit. It's good news. It does mean we're stabilizing, but it doesn't mean we're going down yet. And so I said, it's very important that we give everyone time to prepare. But I'm anticipating they won't reopen us. The GTHA mayors, as you know, have their calls on Monday at lunch. And yeah, we discussed that very issue. The fact that with Christmas Eve, Christmas Day coming up 9 days from now, 8 days, 8 and 9 days from now, then Boxing Day sales, which should be online, just like Cyber Monday, and then New Year's Eve. So, I think we're all prepared that there will be some people breaking rules, but we will know, because 2 weeks later, approximately the second and third week in January, we'll see another spike in the numbers, right? And so I did ask, I said, we need to know when the decision will be announced, although we're anticipating that we will be closed until at least January 4th. And that is also because I'm anticipating that. I'm not suggesting that I've heard anything. I don't have any insider information, but let's be clear. There are a number of holidays coming up. Then chances are they won't reopen us. They just put York and Windsor into lockdown. And I know that they're watching Hamilton and Halton very closely. So, if all these regions are now going into lockdown, that doesn't bode well for coming out, because everything should be closed at the same time, because otherwise, as you saw from the articles on the weekend, the aggregate cell phone data, that
yeah.
there's movement of people from Peel into Markham and into Vaughan, or Mississaugans into Oakville and Burlington. People migrate. So you need a lockdown that's consistent right across a regional basis, regional territory.
So just to be clear, your gut is telling you that we are
Minimum,
not opening December.
minimum Jan 4 is my
Min-
gut. I don't
okay.
have any insider information, but it would be contrary to logic, right? If they're still putting regions in to
Yeah.
lockdown, and we haven't really made any great leaps and bounds to getting our numbers to decline. We're still sort of holding steady at around 130 cases, and there are days like today, there was 185. The other day was 150, but yet it's still averaging in the 130s. So, until we see those numbers declining, I don't see there's a lot of hope for us going back into red and then orange. So it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I had really hoped I hope that we wouldn't go see a second wave because things were looking good in the summer and the early fall.
And we're in bed with Brampton, so no matter what happens, we're, you know, kind of in there with them.
Right, but if we got our numbers significantly below 100 cases to get into the red zone or the orange zone, I could make that case. We're just not there yet. I mean, of course they're going to listen if I can prove that Mississaugans are doing everything possible to reduce our case numbers. And it's not only our case numbers, let's be honest. It's our hospitals and the capacity in our hospitals. And I've been informed that Trillium Health Partners, you know, they're starting to transfer patients. They're looking at moving elective surgeries. And, you know, when the hospital capacity is stressed, that makes the situation very dire. And I don't think they would reopen us until that was under control. That's certainly what sent York into lockdown, because their public officer of health, remember, their numbers were the same as ours, but he said, but we have hospital capacity right now. We have other hospitals transferring patients to us, so we are fine. We are fine. He could make that case. He was happy to sign the letter, keep everyone open. We're managing, we're holding our own, we're okay. But then a letter came in from all the hospital CEOs to the Premier saying, we're not okay. We're at capacity and we're struggling. So hence they went into lockdown, because you have to look at all aspects, not just case numbers. You have to look at the ability to contact trace, the capacity in public health, and also your hospital capacity, not just strictly case numbers.
True.
But they're a good sign. Everything else falls into line usually when your case numbers are lower.
True. With vaccines rolling out over the coming months, do you see, this is more of a mask question, do you see the mask bylaw kind of extending till the end of 21?
Yes, I think we should continue to wear masks as long as possible. Okay. They're certainly creating all the protocols of the vaccination and, you know, who's in the line first, but it makes sense. Those who are most vulnerable will receive it first, and that includes people in long-term care homes and their caregivers. The PSWs at the LTCs, hospital workers, frontline workers. It makes sense who will get the vaccine first. We were thinking, you know, it would give a lot of people confidence to take the vaccine. We should encourage Hazel to get it publicly. We'll get Hazel, we'll show everybody it's safe, and they should do it if she does it, right? Isn't that a great idea? I think we should do that.
Celebration Square. And from a virtual.
It might be cold. Oh, sure. But wherever she'd have to go. Actually, you have to go to the hospital to get it.
Okay.
Right, because there are only 23 units, freezer units that can withstand that cold, that keep things minus 75 Celsius.
So let me ask this then: what part of the lineup is Mississauga in regards to getting the vaccine?
We start Monday, I think.
Mississauga does?
We appeal. Yeah. All the vaccine is coming in now.
Okay, and then
they were just trying to do the rollout, the testing of the logistics and the supply chain by doing a limited number. They did 1,500 people, so 2 rounds, so that's 3,000 vaccines at was Western Hospital, so University Health Network, and another 1,500 people at Ottawa Hospital, and that was just to test the logistics of rolling out outside of the GTA. And then you and I both know that we have some of the most serious situation here, being in lockdown and Peel, some of the highest numbers. So we will be among the first when the vaccine rolls out.
When do you think among the first will be? Like, do you think that'll be March, April?
What do you mean?
Getting the vaccine, like for sorry?
Monday.
Oh, so somebody in Mississauga.
It's imminent. It's imminent. Yeah, we'll start in the hospitals with healthcare workers and the workers at the LTCs. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a lot faster than you think. The first phase is now till March. They're hoping to get all the frontline healthcare workers completed by then, and then we go into phase 2, which opens it up a little more broadly to more of the seniors population, more of the vulnerable populations, and healthy folks like you and I are going to wait a lot longer.
When do you think we'll get it?
Next fall, maybe. I'm hoping the end of the summer, September.
Okay. I'll see you then.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll be in line with you.
we wrote about a gathering. You guys sent out a press release in regards to a lot of gathering infractions over the weekend. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I wasn't very happy. I have that here handy in case you would ask. And let me again say that 99.7% of our inspections have come in compliant.
Okay.
And how many inspections was that? 8,867, let's call it 8,900, almost 9,000 proactive inspections. Proactive means we go out and inspect.
Over the
All right?
weekend?
No,
9,000 over the weekend?
the past week.
Past
I
week,
think
okay.
since actually, I think that's inaccurate. I think it's since the beginning of lockdown.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm wrong again. Proactive site inspections began August 17. Compliance rate, oh, no, 9,000 was last week.
Wow, that's a lot.
Cumulative was 19,000. The cumulative compliance rate is 99.6. Last week was 99.7. But and while we pay tribute to that, I think that's terrific. The problem is it's just one super spreader gathering. All it takes is one super spreader party, and all our numbers escalate at a very rapid rate again. And there were a number that could have qualified, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. For instance, 10 tickets at a private gathering, another 8 tickets at a different gathering, and another ticket at another residential gathering. There was, again, that whole indoor restaurant dining, which is, they know better. Cafe indoor service, they know better. Private club, card game. I don't know if alcohol was involved in this one or not. 14 tickets. So let's be honest. There's 14 people that received an $880 ticket for being somewhere they shouldn't have. And whoever organized it, the fine starts at $10,000. It could go as high as $100,000. Is that really worth it? Plus, you're probably in there playing cards, probably not masked. It could be the one event that tips the hat.
True.
And it become the super spreader party. Why do that now? Why? Play virtually. I know lots of folks who play like cards virtually. We play Moonshot, and there's a virtual game. We log into a virtual game with other partners, but virtually. And it's a lot of fun. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why they would take those risks.
And obviously, you can't tell us the restaurants or the private club or anything like that, or.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's not even in the information I receive. And I
Okay.
could press bylaw about it, but they'd be very reluctant to tell me. We don't want to stigmatize them if it was an honest mistake. And the same with the gatherings. I mean, they know who they are, and they don't tell me because they don't want me running off and like we did the one time.
Okay.
And gave the name, but only because the name of the alleged establishment was all over Facebook and Instagram.
It was on their stories.
It was on their story. It was everywhere. I
Right.
didn't make that up. It was everywhere.
Yeah. So when the pandemic is over,
Yes.
in some
What will be
time,
the first thing you do?
well, let me ask this question though. After the pandemic's over, is one of the first things you do is going to pursue Mississauga leaving Peel again?
Yeah, right. I have talked to the premier about that. He is supportive of the concept, but it's just very hard to implement ever, but certainly not right now.
Yeah.
Certainly not right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've had discussions about it. I know even Hazel has had discussions with them about it as well.
Okay. Okay. So let's get to Instagram viewer questions. Okay. And I did pick the ones that fit your jurisdiction, not like, hey, can you control the weather? So let's start with this one.
Can I control the weather?
Yeah. So
are they worried about Santa? Santa's sleigh?
You get blamed for everything.
Santa's immune. Santa's immune.
So here's a good one. Will you meet with small business, restaurants, gyms to understand their challenges?
Well, sure, and we have been, and we certainly know their challenges. I am on speed dial with a couple of restaurant owners, so I hear daily their challenges, and we have met in fact, Board of Trade has organized a sit down with restaurants next Friday.
Okay.
I met with personal care workers. That was last Friday. and there was probably under 100, but maybe about 80 on the call talking about their personal plight. And a lot of these people a lot of them are single moms that operate personal care service. So they're estheticians or laser beauty specialists or makeup artists, hair salons. And, these are women who are feeding their families, who are self-employed, and they're counting on this for income. So, I've met with them. I continue to meet. I prefer to do it in a group, not one-on-one, because we're repeating a lot of the same messaging. And it's very important for people to understand that, we do get them. We know very acutely well what is happening and try to get you the right financial supports in place so that you can survive the pandemic. And it's very important for me that people understand that these aren't our decisions, right? That these are provincial decisions. They make the essential list, they make those decisions, and they do so in consultation with public health. Now, unfortunately, I'm left to enforce them. So when bylaw knocks on your door, you're not very happy because there's City of Mississauga enforcing rules that, were a framework that we didn't create, and maybe, choices we agree with when they're based in science and evidence. But we're all one team here. Let's just say that we all want the right. We all have the same objective and want the same outcome, which is to protect the health and safety of our residents. And if public health feels that the risk of transmission is lowest when everyone is closed except for essential services and those big box that can sell non-essentials, that's a sore point with me, then that's the way it is, and I'm left to enforce it.
Have you, sorry, this is just off topic, well, not off topic, but just not a question from a viewer, but have you heard from the province in regards to kind of cutting off non-essential goods at big box retailers?
Oh, yes. Yes, they're not supportive of it. They don't think it'll accomplish anything. And certainly they think they would create supply chain issues. The perspective of the big box chains and their CEOs and their management is that they would like everyone open. They don't want to be in an unfair competitive advantage. They want all small business to open, but the province is not agreed to do so. On our mayor's call on Monday, we agreed that after the lockdown is lifted in January, we hope, we're going to ask for safe reopening with capacity limits, much the way you've seen in other provinces, and just to change the sort of the regulatory framework that's been announced. So we're going to push for that. It doesn't help people during the holiday season, but I think that once they're reopened, there's a lot of pent-up consumerism and people will go out and support our local businesses. And I'm very hopeful they will. I'm very hopeful that that's exactly what they're doing for their families over the holiday season, buying up gift cards for future purchases at all our local retailers. I think that's the way to go.
Agreed.
Please support them. Please support them. Yeah.
What resources, advice do you have for people feeling isolated at this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we both know I have an 84-year-old mom, and I'm part of her essential supports, frankly. People do feel isolated. At the beginning of the pandemic, we used to have groups of younger seniors and other community groups that were reaching out to seniors and calling them regularly and dropping off food and prepared meals and medications. And I'm not seeing as much of that now as we had in the beginning. Remember, in April, May, June, etc. But I'm still hearing of it. So be sure to reach out, I guess is the message. Reach out to someone who you know lives alone, reach out to a senior, make sure they're on your call list or your Zoom list, or you're sending them an email. Let them know you're thinking of them. That's so important because people do feel isolated. I don't go out very much. I'm going out tomorrow to City Hall. Just taping greetings and doing my press conference. But, I don't go out much either other than for essentials. So, and to go check in on my mom.
Another question we have from one of our Instagram viewers, what's being done for businesses who aren't complying with the restrictions?
Mm-hmm. So we ask all your viewers, all our residents, to call 311, whether it's a resident, a homeowner, or a business, and let us know, and we will go in and inspect. And, you know, we always approach things with education first. By the way, did you know you're non-essential and should be closed? And, you know, sometimes they were misguided and they were told that it's okay to open, but whatever, depends on the attitude. Maybe if they disagree with the rules, then they'll probably get a ticket. And you know that those tickets start at about $10,000. So it's tough. It's tough. We don't suggest flagrant disregard of rules because it's not in anyone's interest. It's not. Don't be the super spreader. These rules are put in place. They're designed by public health for a reason. It's to protect everyone the best way we know how. And I understand not everybody agrees with them. I feel I have a real soft spot for our restaurateurs and our small businesses. I wish they could all open with capacity limits, but I've been overruled. Public health feels strongly that it's not the right approach when our case counts are so high and our hospitals are at capacity or over capacity and transferring out patients. I mean, that is our last line of defense, let's be honest, our hospitals. And if they're over capacity and we're looking for a hospital to send our patients, that's a bad situation to be in. And it's probably not a situation where we can open additional businesses until we get that under control.
Good segue into the next question from our viewer. It says, how many people are hospitalized in Mississauga because of COVID-19 right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I took notes last night on our call. We had our public health call last night. Let me just call that up. I believe it's usually around between 120, 150 in Trillium Health. Here it is. They did 1,000 tests yesterday. 50 staff they have out positive, 87 people are hospitalized, 23 in the ICU, and then there's usually another 30 to 50 people, maybe more. Let's call it averaging 50 people who are in the hospital and are awaiting test results. So we call them pending. So when you look at it, that's already 110, 150, 160 rooms being used for COVID hospitalized patients, ICU, and then pending results.
True.
And there are, you know, a couple of outbreaks in Trillium Health Partners in a couple of different units, but they're under control. They're managing them. And they're concerned about surgeries, which are already been reduced to about 83% and may have to go down further. And I think we're expecting an announcement in the next day or so about whether they'll have to reduce elective surgeries further.
2 more questions. I see Celebration Square is doing a New Year's Eve thing, but I'm assuming it's going to look a little different.
Yeah, it's going to be virtual.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be virtual for sure. And in fact, that's one of the reasons I'm going up to City Hall tomorrow. I'll be taping from the square outside the greetings for New Year's Eve.
Cool. Are you going to tell them that it's virtual? Because I think a lot of people are just going to assume and just go.
Well, they'll get the information to log on. No, they'll know it's virtual. They'll know when we get there and there's nobody there.
Okay. Well, there might be a lot of people there. So
no, I don't think so. So there'll be security telling them to go home.
True. Okay, and last question I have here from an Instagram viewer today. Okay. The question is, who's her favorite daughter?
There's very good news here. Very good news. Natasha is my favorite daughter. Okay. And it's very good news because I only have one daughter. I'm glad the question is, which is your favorite son? Because I have 2 of those. But it is the favorite daughter's birthday today. Okay. Right? So we are all... There she is in the background. She is 24 today.
Oh, wow.
Quite grown up. Quite grown up. Happy birthday, Natasha Crombie. We've been celebrating all day, all evening last night and posting all kinds of photos, and flowers have been arriving all day. So I'm quite thrilled that she's being made to feel very special by her friends who are sending her greetings virtually on all social media, and then flowers being delivered. It's a lovely day for her. She's quite thrilled.
Please tell her.
Young and beautiful and accomplished and smart, and just she's got it all.
Is she following in your footsteps?
Uh, Desiring a public life, that would be crazy, right?
Okay, good.
No, she's a public sector consultant with one of the
Okay.
bigger firms. Yeah, she's business degree.
Oh,
Yeah, she's quite accomplished for sure. And yeah, I'm very proud of her. I'm proud of all my kids. They're all fantastic, but today is her day. So today we will focus on her. And Natasha Crombie is one fantastic young woman, and I wish her a very, very happy birthday today. I
well,
remember what it was like 24 years ago and what I was going through.
so, and I'll end it with that. All
Thank
right.
you.
See you
Happy
next.
birthday, Natasha. Bye. Thank you, everyone.